Okay, so let's get cracking with this quick tutorial, hopefully it'll be quick, on using SimpleTrakk, which is one of the software resources you have as part of your Six Figure Mentors membership. So I'm logged into my back office. I haven't done much prep for this because I kind of want to feel my way through the software. I haven't used it for a very long time myself, purely because I bought a slightly more advanced software. But if you are just getting started, and I would say if you're driving anything less than 50 leads a day, SimpleTrakk is perfectly sufficient. I bought the more advanced software and it's probably more than I need. So I would just say that up front. So what you do is go into your back office, you go to DBL login and open up Digital Business Lounge. And then from Digital Business Lounge, you're going to open up SimpleTrakk over here on the left. Taking a while, I think my Wi-Fi is a bit slow, apologies. Whilst that's opening, I'm going to go back to Digital Business Lounge and open up Simple Lead Capture as well, just because we can tie it all together using all the software that we've got. So here is your dashboard, your homepage, as it were, for SimpleTrakk. Now, I know the tutorials haven't been input here, that's why I'm doing this. So we'll start off by doing just simple tracking, which is going to show you your leads. So basic conversions from a landing page using a simple tracking method, process, whatever you want to call it. So for the purposes of this tutorial, let's just call it demo campaign 1. And in this second box is where you're going to put your landing page that you're collecting your leads on. So let's assume that we've created one using our link generator from the SFM back office. So we're using a standard SFM landing page. And I'll show you after this how to use your simple lead capture pages, but essentially it's the same process. So let's assume you've created a link using the link generator. So I'm just going to take one of the ones that I've already got here, copy it, and I'm just going to put it into a new browser to see which one it is. Okay, so it's this Meet Stuart and Jay page that we've got in the link generator. So that's cool. We're going to use that one. So we go back into SimpleTrakk and pop that landing page link into the URL field. Now I know it's long and it's ugly, but leave it, it's fine, because SimpleTrakk will give you a shorter one, and then we're going to cloak it with your own domain anyway. So that's going to create the campaign. What SimpleTrakk now gives you is the link that you're going to put in your ad, or the link that you're going to put in a blog post if you're using it for a blog, but your landing page is now sitting on this link, which is what's going to enable it to be tracked. Over here, you've got your simple tracking code. This code needs to go on your landing page. So if you are using an SFM generated landing page, we're going to copy this code and go back into the back office, and we're going to go to marketing and my funnel settings. Oh, this is taking a while, apologies. And in my funnel settings, what you have is like a universal system for adding code to all SFM landing pages. So it's very easy. So what you do is go down to this area here that says third-party pixel and tracking codes. And you want to put this code in the thank you pages box. So all I'm going to do is move some other codes down that I'm using, create a new line and paste the SimpleTrakk code into this box, because as you can see it says thank you page pixel codes for tracking leads. You don't want to track visits, or you can, but in this instance we're tracking leads, so you need to put the code in the page after your customer takes action. So at this stage I personally don't think there's any point tracking visits, If you're using a pay-per-click platform, the likelihood is the reporting from that platform will tell you how many people have visited your page anyway, or how many people have clicked on the ad. So at this stage, we're just going to track the leads. So this is people that actually enter their email address and go as far as taking that action. So put your SimpleTrakk code in there and hit save changes underneath these boxes. Some people don't realize that that button above is actually for the content above, not for these fields. So you want to hit save changes down the bottom here until you get the saved note, which will pop up here in green. It's already disappeared, but saved will pop up next to the button. So we now want to go back into SimpleTrakk and we can hit done. So this code here is now your link. So let's quickly copy that and then hit done. So we now have this in our dashboard and it says here, no clicks, no actions. So what I'm going to do is paste that link into a new window. So this is where your viewer or your reader will end up once they've clicked on your ad, wherever you're putting this link, or clicked on the link in your blog post or wherever you're putting it. And they will now see your landing page because your landing page is now sitting on a SimpleTrakk link. So let's just make sure that has worked. My internet is very slow. There we go. So you can see it went from up the top here, it went from the SimpleTrakk link and it redirected to your original link. Now, to keep all this tidy, what I would recommend, ironically enough, is tidy URL. So assuming you have got the tidy URL on your website, I'm just going to jump into my back office of WordPress. And tidy URL, of course, is a plugin that you are provided with as part of your Digital Business Lounge membership, which if you're not sure how to get it, in Digital Business Lounge, WordPress plugins down here on the left at the bottom, you can download plugins there that we can use. So presuming you've got this installed, open it up in your WordPress back office and you can paste your SimpleTrakk link in here, which will put it onto your domain. So let's pick a slug, which is the language that goes after your slash, after your home domain. So let's call it Demo Campaign 1, just so it matches what we've got in SimpleTrakk. We can give it a title, which is what's going to appear on the tab at the top. So we'll call it Meet Stuart and Jay. That's the page we're using. And then the redirect type, I personally like to use cloaked because then it keeps it on that slug the entire time. So it's not going to go from the SimpleTrakk link to your original link and get messy in the browser. Not that this is crucial, I just personally like it because it keeps it tidy and I have mild OCD. So we'll create that link. So now your landing page is on a link and a URL in your own domain. Now, personally, I wouldn't use this method for YouTube just because I believe Google can see through cloaking. So in other words, they can see through this cloaking. They can see that it's an SFM standard landing page and it may not get approved. I personally have been able to use cloaked links for Facebook ads, and there's plenty of other platforms with which you'll be fine. I just wouldn't advise doing it on YouTube or Google at the moment. You'd be better off creating your landing pages in simple lead capture so that they are mapped onto your domain. I don't want to confuse people with the two differences here, but if you're using Google or YouTube, I personally wouldn't be using SFM link generated pages. I'd be building your own in simple lead capture. But if you're on any of the other platforms, from what I've heard from other members, you should be okay. So I digress, but you can now see that everything has stayed throughout the process on your domain. So I'm going to opt in. I'm not going to watch. They can stop. I've seen these two play table football many times. So I'm going to opt in. I'm going to use my personal email address just because I know it's real and I want to use a real one to make sure it works. So we'll opt in. And you can see up in the browser that it's stayed on your domain. it stays on there for the thank you page as well. So this is the thank you page that's being generated by SFM because it's a link generator link. So although you can't see it, in the background here, your SimpleTrakk code that we pasted into the back office under my funnel settings, that code has now picked up the fact that someone has got as far as your thank you page. So it knows someone has opted in because they would only see this page if they'd opted in. So hopefully that makes sense. So if we now go back to SimpleTrakk and refresh the page, not down here in the, this is the stats setting. You don't want to reset that. So it's at 0 because it was newly created. If I now refresh my dashboard and just go to dashboard here, it should be showing us 1 lead. Look at that. It works. So because I opted in, you can see it's got 1 click and it's a unique click. So a unique click, if you don't understand, would be from the same IP address. So I could have opened the landing page 2 or 3 times and it might say, it would then say 3 clicks, but only 1 unique because all 3 have come from the same IP address. So you know it's the same person opening them up. So unique clicks is really what you're looking for, because if there's the chance that the same person could click on the ad twice, see the landing page twice. And that's why I was saying before that you don't really need to track visits because it's going to show you them anyway. And the action is the lead. So that is SimpleTrakk. It is very simple. That's what we want. It's a very basic method of tracking your leads. I personally would be backing this up with a simple spreadsheet because you want to make sure that you're also tracking your revenue. And at the moment, you could set the income. You could have one that tracks apps, one that tracks members. So therefore you could put in income as $20 for an app and then set up a different link for members. But that is getting into quite advanced stuff and I don't want to overwhelm people. But as a very basic tracking software, this works great. So that is simple tracking. What I would also like to show you is split testing, which basically is just a rotating tool that's going to give you the option to try 2 different landing pages. You can try as many as you want, but I personally would never do more than 2 because it then becomes a bit overwhelming or a bit confusing or a bit, too much split testing in one hit. You're mixing too many factors that could be affecting the success of your funnel. So I would stick to just split testing 2. So what I'm going to do is open up split testing and we'll call this one Demo Campaign 2. Cost per action, or how much per action, again I would leave as 0 because I believe that's the cost of the click, which is going to fluctuate all the time on the pay-per-click platforms. I could be wrong and this could be revenue per action, but because I'm not sure, I'm not going to put anything in there. And this is exactly the same process as what we did with the other simple tracking tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the Meet Stuart and Jay landing page. Let's close that down because we've already opted in. Go back into our link generator. And let's say Meet Stuart and Jay. We'll grab that same link again. We're going to test that landing page. And we're going to hit the plus button here, which allows us to add another landing page. So in our link generator, you can create a new one. I'm just going to use one that I know already exists. So I'm going to split test it against the laptop lifestyle landing page. So we just put that next. So now we've got 2 different landing pages and they're going to be rotated. So we create the campaign, we end up with 1 link like we did before and some simple tracking code. So again, you take your code, it's exactly the same process. We go into my funnel settings and the code is going on your thank you page. So we need it in this box here. So we're just going to put a line break in from the last one. Paste this one in. You can put as many of these conversion codes in here as you like. Just make sure you've got a line break between each one. Scroll down and hit the Save Changes button. Don't forget to do that. It's very important. You've got your saved notification. That's great. So now we go back into SimpleTrakk, and this is our one link that we need for our ad or for our blog or wherever we're putting the link. And we're going to go into our Tidy URL plugin, pop it in there just to tidy it up and put it on our own domain. So this one's going to be Demo Campaign 2. And I think we'll just call it the Six Figure Mentors, because we've got two different landing pages with two different themes, messages as it were. We're going to cloak it and we're going to create the link. So now we have one link and it's called Demo Campaign 2. So what's going on with this link? You've got two landing pages, and the SimpleTrakk tool that we've set it up with is simply going to alternate the landing pages that people see. So viewer 1, say you're on Facebook, comes along, they click your ad, they see this. They see this landing page. The next person who comes along and clicks your ad, SimpleTrakk's rotated it, is going to see this landing page. So what it does is just enable you to run a simple split test on two different landing pages. So you've got your ad stays the same, your image on the ad stays the same. All that happens is that SimpleTrakk is splitting the traffic in half. And so after a couple of days, or after however much you are willing to spend on your campaign, you can see which of those landing pages converts best for that ad. So it's just a really basic tool that sits in the background rotating your two landing pages, which is really handy if you're struggling to decide which you think is going to be best for the ad and the message you're trying to get out there. So the process would be exactly the same if you're using Simple Lead Capture to build your landing pages. You'd obviously just put your Simple Lead Capture URLs into the front end of SimpleTrakk at the beginning of that process that I showed you. And what's going to happen here when you've hit done on a split test, so demo 2, you'll see there's now a little plus sign next to that one, and it's got two landing pages. So each one has been opened once. We didn't opt into either of them, so they still say 0 here, which is everything's moved over one column. So actions is one unique on each. The zeros are the number of leads. So if you ran the ad with this link rotating for, say, a week, you could end up with 50 leads on this one and 15 leads on this one. So at that point, you know that that first landing page is obviously converting best for that ad. And then you would go back and recreate it by removing the other one, or just sticking with that one. You'd need to create a new campaign. As far as I'm aware, SimpleTrakk doesn't allow you to remove one. Some of the more advanced softwares that you can buy for this kind of thing do let you do that. I don't think, no, we can't remove one. So once you've got the figures and you can see which one converts best, I guess you'd go and create your campaign just using that one, and you'd move on to your next campaign and maybe split test a couple more landing pages for a different campaign. So that is a very simple overview of SimpleTrakk. The other thing I was going to show you was where you would put your tracking code if you're not using SFM landing pages from the link generator, because obviously you need to put the SimpleTrakk code on your thank you page. If you are creating, so this is the step I showed you before where you copied it into the back office here. If you're not using link generator links and you're using Simple Lead Capture to build your funnels, you need to put that code in your thank you page. So in Simple Lead Capture, that would mean opening up your thank you pages, hitting edit, which is the pencil, and I just recreated one of our thank you pages in Simple Lead Capture. It was really easy. In extras, you'll see here there's a box for script and tracking code. That is where you would put your SimpleTrakk code if you're building your funnels and thank you pages in Simple Lead Capture. If you're building pages on your own website, I am an Optimized Press theme user. So for anyone using Optimized Press, I can show you how you would do that in Optimized Press. So my thank you page is built on my site. So in Optimized Press, your SimpleTrakk code would go in the header of your thank you page, which if you're familiar with Optimized Press, this should look familiar. You'd go into page settings of your thank you page, and you need to add a header which is under other scripts. And you can see here I've got various header scripts. So I'd scroll down and I would, because you need header scripts for all sorts of things, you would add new, select header, and then you would copy your SimpleTrakk code in this box here, and then you would hit update at the bottom. So that's where it goes if you're an Optimized Press user. If you're just using a WordPress website, your SimpleTrakk thank you page code, I'm not overly familiar how I'm going to do this, but I believe if you're creating a thank you page just in your site, this is what your thank you page would look like. So I'm just going to, for the purpose of demonstration, thank you page you're building in WordPress, and you perhaps say thanks for subscribing. You've built this page already, obviously, I'm just doing this for a demo. So you've got everything on your thank you page here, maybe a video, maybe a message. What you would need to do is go into the text tab of your WordPress WYSIWYG, and above at the very top, it needs to be the first thing. I believe if you type something like this, head, which is your header tag, and then put your SimpleTrakk code in here, paste it in there, and then give it a closed header tag in parentheses. I believe if you do that and paste your SimpleTrakk code in here that you got from SimpleTrakk when you created the link, that should be sufficient to track it. And then when you go back to visual, you can't see it. What I actually would suggest if you're just using WordPress with a theme is that you get yourself a plugin for adding header scripts. If you Google best plugin for header scripts, I'm sure there's some around. This is one of the reasons I use Optimized Press, because it just makes life like with these sorts of tasks so much easier. But I'm sure there's plugins there that you just simply go into the plugin and add the header script into the plugin, and it's really, really easy. But what you just need to keep in mind is that your SimpleTrakk code needs to go on the thank you page, because you want to track people that have opted in. You don't want it on the landing page because they could disappear again and then they're not a lead. So I hope that clears that up. Your SimpleTrakk dashboard will start to take shape like this, and you can start to see which ones are working. Excuse me, that's my phone. So I hope that clears that up. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. If in doubt, just use a pen and paper. That's all from me, guys. I will speak to you soon. Cheers, bye.